my two guests in the studio have been waiting very patiently for the last 45 minutes of the show. But it's nice to be able to say hello to Nathaniel McCartney.
Hello.
And Curtis Worrell.
Hello.
And you're doing an event at the Greater Manchester Fringe this summer, aren't you?
That is correct, yeah, we are.
Now, I've got some questions to ask you because we thought it might be good. The play's called Disrupted.
It is.
And we'll learn all about that, won't we, very shortly. So what is the play about?
Shall I take this one?
You can do, yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
So the play itself is about two friends who skive pretty much every single Wednesday from their university studying to go to a pub and drink very heavily. And where the play actually begins, there's a bit of a change in the circumstances. Don't want to give away too much, because obviously where would be the fun, but that is really the sort of gist of the play itself.
You just need to give enough to whet the appetite.
Absolutely,
yeah. So, what are the main themes?
Do you want me to take this?
Yeah, you take it.
Yeah, so there's a few, but just without giving too much away. Some of the few themes are acceptance, rejection, love and trust, I suppose, as well. But the key underlying one is friendship. So there's definitely a bigger issue here surrounding the LGBT community without, again, saying too much. But definitely friendship, absolutely. There's a bigger issue surrounding the play, but this is more a personal approach to it.
Right. Yeah. And also, what did you have to do to get into the roles of the main character?
Well, for myself, playing the role of Johnny, I feel that he is probably quite the polar opposite of the kind of person I am. He's very obnoxious, quite Lothario, and is heavily interested in, a goal of basically being able to score as many women as possible. And yeah, I feel that particular character is so far beyond that I get to sort of really play with it being completely away from myself in that respects. So I don't have to worry too much about sort of honing in on it. I get to sort of be very playful with Johnny. What do you think about that?
I'd say, for better or worse, I'd say I'm closer to Ash than Nathaniel would be to Johnny. Ash is very reserved. He likes to isolate himself. He would be the kind. He's not as hot-headed as Johnny would be. He would think out a situation and all the different outcomes. Yeah, for myself, it would be just about locking myself in a room, having a cup of tea, learning lines, and thinking about those different situations and how we would react to them.
Yeah,
that's very true.
So quite an expansion for yourself, Nathaniel. There. So.
Yeah, definitely. Especially a very sort of volatile and sort of a single thought and then immediate sort of going with that is a good way of describing Johnny's character. Doesn't really think things through, very impulsive, and I feel that is really, way off the mark from the kind of person I am. Kind of like what Curtis just said, I'm quite meticulous in the way that I kind of approach many things.
Yeah.
So it gives me a lot of fun just to play around and kind of be very more free-spirited with and just having a really good time performing Johnny. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I suppose that's the thing with being an actor, isn't it? Playing many different roles, many different characters, and, a lot of people are playing, they're not playing themselves, they have to get into the character, and it's quite a challenge, but a good challenge.
Absolutely. And I think as well, quite the misconception that I feel anyway, I know many people probably disagree, is that a lot of the times people feel that it's just pretending. And to sort of quote a bit of Meisner and Bill Esper without, switching too many people off from listening, I feel really that the true essence of acting is really to sort of play truthfully under imaginary circumstances, so the emotions are real, the sort of intentions that you might set yourself as an actor being that character are very real, but everything else is completely imaginary.
Yeah.
So that's why the real sort of fun and games sort of come into it, really, for me.
I think that's why a lot of us do this, really. It gives us a little glimpse of, particular scenarios, situations, without having those consequences on our own lives.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yes. What was the inspiration for the play?
Well, I'm quite the sort of trying to think of what the word is. I very enjoy watching people. I sometimes go to cafes and just sort of people watch and see the sort of world kind of pass me by. And with this one particular, this play, the sort of inspiration really came from these two guys that I was at uni with, and they were truly like the best of friends. And I just felt like, what if potentially in some other kind of imaginary circumstances, if they were a bit too close? And then from there, the play itself has kind of gone through a lot of changes, a lot of different redrafts and everything to what it is now, which is all ready for July.
Yeah, which is not far away, is it? It's getting closer and closer.
Coming close.
Yeah, about, I think it's 8.5 weeks. Gosh, I feel we've just gone past the 9-week mark for the teching.
That's sooner than I thought.
It's a little bit. Yeah, but we're fine. We're on.
We are.
Where's the time? The time flies, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Completely.
So, what had been challenging surrounding the play?
I think definitely off the base of that is just the time. We both work full time, so trying to schedule rehearsals and learning our lines in between those as well is definitely challenging. But we're managing it. I think by this point we've done that much work alongside our full time jobs that we kind of know how to manage it. So we're prepared.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And also for myself, I would also say that directing, producing, then also promoting the show as well as. Just everything else, like getting together like the posters, the flyers, trying to get the set kind of sorted as minimally as I want it to be, and then getting costume and props and sorting out all of like the sort of music that's going to be within the play as well. I feel that I'm kind of this very large 12-headed person with all these different roles, and I feel like Curtis has just said, having that on top of trying to get rehearsals together, as well as all the sort of like the networking side of it with the Fringe as well. I'd say that's been the most challenging stuff, but it's also very rewarding. The people that I've met, on previous shows when I've done them with the Fringe Festival in the past, as well as just from this particular project as well. It's a really nice way of being able to sort of see the community of the sort of, especially around the Manchester and Salford area, just come together and support each other for it.
Yeah. Now, where and when is it on?
So it's going to be on at the 3 Minute Theatre venue, which is in the Affleck Palace in the Manchester City Centre. The dates are the 11th, 12th and 13th of July. Doors open at 7 with a 7:30 start. And then tickets are £7 for adults and £5 for concessions.
Yeah, which is good, isn't it? It's nice to have those concessionary tickets.
Absolutely. We've got to make sure we're adhering to everybody as possible.
Yeah. Now the 3 Minute Theatre is really nice. I saw an album release there by Little Sparrow. I can't believe it's 5 years ago at the 3MT. It was lovely event, lovely venue. And they also have I'm not sure, they have a cafe there, don't they?
They do, yeah. So throughout the day, it's a 100% vegan sort of health and well-being cafe. I've been in there quite a few times, and it's absolutely amazing. The food's great, the staff are lovely. And John, who runs 3 Minute Theatre, has been really supportive with putting the show on as well, and it's given me a lot of sort of encouragement, because I think that's the great thing as to why we decided to go and actually be at the 3 Minute Theatre, is that they're such an advocate for new writing, and John's very passionate about making sure that new writing and exciting new work is put out, and it's not as the mantra for the Greater Manchester Fringe Festival, it's not just a very mundane touring sort of mainstream theatre, which is what you see quite a lot within Manchester. And don't get me wrong, it's amazing. They put on amazing productions, throughout the year. But it's nice to see the more smaller productions just come together and everybody kind of get their time to shine, really.
Yeah. Now, you've been in the Fringe before, haven't you?
I have, back in 2016. That was with the wonderful, I'm really sorry, Marie, I always struggle to pronounce your name if you're listening, and that was with the Captain's Leg Theatre Company, which is a side project from her day-to-day work, which is working within the Wythenshawe community, listening and spending time with the elderly community. And the play itself came from verbatim conversations with the elderly people that Marie and her volunteers would go and speak to. And it was really lovely to sort of, one, listen to those stories, because I feel as time progresses, a lot of a lot of the discussions from the early sort of turn of the century of the 20th century starts to get missed and lost, and it becomes purely just about the facts. Whereas you kind of forget that the people who are surrounding World War I and World War II from all over the globe were, genuine people with their own stories to tell. Yeah. And it was a brilliant platform. And the character that I played was Friedrich, a migrant Jewish young man from Germany who was fleeing oppression. And it was, really lovely to play such a wonderful character. Yeah. With such an amazing story to tell. Yeah. So that was a fantastic opportunity for me back then.
Right, Nathaniel and Curtis, thank you very much for your time coming in this afternoon on Salford City Radio.